I've just started the recording.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And we thank you so much for participating in today's webinar, and we're happy to, you have joined us, and we're excited to begin today. First, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Kim Bullivant. I am a marketing manager with the Department of General Services Bureau of Procurement's COSTARS Program. And also here today with me is Felicia Campbell, and she is a marketing manager with COSTARS as well.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, Scott. Good morning, Greg.
Felicia's just too happy to be here.
I have had a lot of caffeine.
Yeah, that'll do it. But anyway, the intent of this year's COSTARS webinar schedule is to deliver program information to our members, highlighting cost savings opportunities. We're featuring contracts that energize our members' budgets, helping them to increase the efficiency and effectiveness in the services they provide to their communities. Today's session features our Energy Supply and Services Invitation to Qualify ITQ contract. And if you have any questions during this presentation, please feel free to post to the chat. And now we will begin. Get my screen back here. So we know that you have many things to consider that affect your budget, including organizational needs like capital expenditures and supplies, employee and facility safety, asset and information security, estimated expenses and revenues, and efficiency, avoiding redundancies in your procurement process. All of these budget aspects affect the service you provide. To maintain and even increase your service level, expenses continue to chip away at your budget. COSTARS is here to help its members manage their budget and time investment by providing them with quality products and services through our authorized suppliers. Purchasing through the COSTARS program reduces the amount of time you spend on procurement, allowing you to invest more time on other important tasks. The COSTARS program can save your time by reducing time spent in the public bidding process. Since COSTARS contracts satisfy the requirements of Chapter 19 of the the Pennsylvania Procurement Code, members can purchase directly from COSTARS and COSTARS participating statewide contracts and make their purchasing decisions based on more than just cost alone. There may be other criteria important to our members, like preferred brands, supplier location, negotiations, and other value-added aspects like extended warranties, etc. As a COSTARS member, you have flexibility in your purchasing decisions. Variety. Members may purchase from 36 multi-vendor COSTARS exclusive contracts, as well as piggyback on more than 100 statewide COSTARS participating contracts for their procurement needs. COSTARS members have access to easy to use portals to search by various criteria to find suppliers who offer the supplies and services they need. Many member procurement costs can be reduced by purchasing through COSTARS. It's estimated that for transactions over the $21,300 bidding threshold mandated by the Pennsylvania Procurement Code, an entity that normally follows these requirements invests approximately $3,600 in the public bidding process, and that's comprised of advertising costs, administrative costs, and attorney's fees. By purchasing through COSTARS, the time and cost normally associated with the public bidding process is significantly reduced. Now, this $3,600 can be applied to the hard costs of the project. COSTARS contracts are competitively priced. The pricing on these contracts is a ceiling price for both large and small ticket items. Additionally, suppliers can reduce their pricing to earn a member's business. Members can negotiate with suppliers to ensure the best value for their spend. COSTARS exclusive contracts also allow for customization, so members can tailor products to best fit their needs. For example, if they are purchasing a vehicle and want to add a winterization package with winter tires and winter floor mats, they might request this add-on as a complimentary upgrade in the purchase or at a discounted cost. Members have peace of mind when purchasing through COSTARS because all suppliers have been vetted. COSTARS exclusive contracts are awarded to all responsive and responsible bidders. Suppliers bidding on a COSTARS contract must communicate in a timely manner to be considered responsive. DGS also ensures that suppliers are in good standing with the Commonwealth to verify they are responsible. Speaking of quality, our members also have access to feedback from other members on their supplier experiences. Procurated is a site where the procurement community can go to provide feedback on their experiences with suppliers, as well as gather performance information on suppliers they may be interested in doing business with. Procurated is like Yelp for procurement professionals. The Department of General Services has built a relationship with the Procurated team to offer one more resource to our COSTARS members to ensure peace of mind they are gaining the best value for their spend. You may receive emails from Procurated to rate and write a review for suppliers you have recently purchased from. We encourage you to participate in this free rating platform. Your feedback helps others while you gain insight from their experience. In our efforts to help you maximize your budget, today we will highlight some contracts that can help save money on your energy costs. Energy costs are an essential spend, but you have options regarding your energy suppliers and usage. The first COSTARS exclusive contract we'd like to highlight is COSTARS 28, the Energy Conservation Management Supplies contract. And that includes everything from solar, thermal, and electric kits to HVAC system enhancements and low flow plumbing components, and energy management and efficiency software. Also, COSTARS 30, our energy consulting services contract that includes rate auditing services, commercial energy and utility bill auditing, software and marketing analysis services, and energy monitoring analysis and advice, just to name a few. In addition to those two energy-related COSTARS exclusive contracts, the Department of General Services has interfaced with the Penn State Facilities Engineering Institute, PSFEI, for electricity procurement services since 2009. The result of this collaboration has saved the Commonwealth more than $158 million. Joining us today, we have Scott Harford, Energy Engineer for Utilities from PSFEI, and Greg Knerr, the DGS Commodity Manager for the PSFEI Energy Contract, who will tell you how you can enroll in the electricity procurement program to help boost your energy budget. And now I'm going to pass it over to Scott.
Thanks, Kim. Everybody see that?
Not yet.
Okay. Let's try her again.
And there's my dog.
If you play your cards right, that won't be the first time we have a barking dog on today.
It's a whole new world working from home, isn't it?
Did we lose Scott?
Oops, we might have. Oh, no, he's on hold. Now it looks like he's,
okay.
No. Oh, boy.
Hello.
Oh, there we are.
Technical difficulties.
We still don't see your screen, but at least you're back.
Okay.
If you want, I can share my screen.
I don't know what
We
happened
can go
there.
from there, and you just tell me when to click.
Let me give it one more try here. Now it's looking as it did when we practiced. Can you see it now?
There you go.
Yes.
You got it.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry about the technical difficulties. My name is Scott Harford. I'm with an organization called Penn State Facility Engineering Institute. We are part of the College of Engineering at Penn State University, and we're located in the not so sunny borough of State College, Pennsylvania today. And I'm joined here today too with Greg Knerr, as Kim had introduced. Greg is with the Department of General Services, Bureau of Procurement, and we work together to administer the COSTARS Electric Procurement Program. Just a little quick background for me. I've been with PSFEI for 12 years in the energy group, and my background, I'm a utility guy. I have 39 years of experience that I bring to PSFEI and to you, the clients of that are participate in the electric procurement program. Greg, maybe give a little background for yourself.
Sure. I'm the commodity manager in the DGS Bureau of Procurement for the energy team. We're one of the teams that handle statewide contracts and then interface with our COSTARS colleagues, where we have, the synergy there, where we're both working on the same types of products. I've been with General Services now for almost 16 years, working in energy procurement, and have seen quite a bit, experienced quite a bit, and we've been able to do a lot of good work over the years. Scott and I have been working together now for the entire 12 years he's been with PSFEI, and fortunately we've been pretty successful for our Commonwealth clients, and have also been able to extend that success to the COSTARS members that we work with. So we're really pleased with the program and excited to continue down that road.
Thanks, Greg. So the electric procurement program, it's a process for procurement. It provides you, the client, with a competitive price for electricity through the process. The process is a proven process where DGS issues an RFQ using pre-qualified suppliers under the statewide invitation to qualify, the ITQ contract for energy supply. Suppliers, then the RFQ is issued and has all of the clientele's information in it as far as their electricity usage, account numbers, etc. And all of this information is housed in this supplier into this system that we call ERMA, the Energy Risk Management Application. The process then goes that the RFQ is issued, a week or two or so is given then for the suppliers to gather up more information, and then on a specific day and a specific time, the bids are then due, and then they're entered into this system. DGS, Bureau of Procurement, and PSFEI, we then review the bids, and then DGS will then award the bids to the lowest price contract that was submitted by a supplier. IRMA is a pretty cool system. It was actually homegrown by PSFEI. We have programmers and technicians that actually built the program, so it's very customized to this type of an environment of an RFQ that's then issued. And the beauty of it is that one of the beauties is that the bids are due at, say, 11 o'clock in the morning, and then by 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the award is done and award letters are sent out. Suppliers love it. It's very efficient system. Some of the attributes of the system are that it will calculate avoided costs. So the avoided costs are what you save. So if you're with utility now at 6 cents a kilowatt hour, and we get bids at 5 cents a kilowatt hour, it will take that differential between the 6 cents that you were paying and the 5 cents that you're going to pay in the new contract with the supplier, and it'll take your usage and it'll actually give you an avoided cost value, so you can see what your budgets, how they might be affected into the future. PSFEI, we have experts performing market evaluations. Is kind of how we determine good times or maybe not so good times of the year to actually issue the RFQs and to do these events. DGS, again, so it's an aggregation of all of the COSTAR participating members' accounts, and then DGS will then award that. So that also gathers a lot of attention when, and I'll talk about it a little bit later with the volumes that we've accrued over time. We've been really active in this program since 2018 to promote the program more. We were active even further back than that, so so it's grown to quite a nice proportion of kilowatt hours and number of clients, and I'll reflect on that in a little bit. Again, I just said that upon the end of the event, I then will then issue something to all of the clients with what were your avoided costs, including the current supply contracts, meaning that if you're already with an existing supplier, sometimes we get bids that are better, right, than even where you were with XYZ supplier. It'll also show that value in there of how you've done better, or also, again, it'll show the differential between the utilities price to compare and which bids were accepted by you. And again, you will get an annual avoided cost estimate, and then also a total avoided cost dollar estimate, which would be we usually solicit for 1, 2, 3, and 4 years, and depending on what is the cheapest price, we will select that. So you'll see that also over the total length of the contract, or whatever is chosen, what your avoided cost estimates would be. Again, energy and procurement professionals, we're here to serve you. It's not just me, but I have a whole group of energy professionals, both of electricity, natural gas, sustainability, water quality. We have a 20 to 30 employees that I can pull reserve information from at any point in time to beyond just energy. But my energy professionals, we determine again the best time to procure electricity, and then we're also always here for guidance throughout the whole process and answer questions of you during that whole process. This process removes a lot of the burden from you now of what you may be doing in getting pricing and entering into supply agreements. One of the advantages of our program is transparency. It's streamlined procurement and the awarding process itself. You know, with our process, once you're in, there's no need to assemble utility bills, go get a bunch of copies to give them to what you might be doing now, 2 or 3, 4 suppliers. You don't have to do any of that assemblage of utility bills. You don't have to issue any kind of an RFQ, spend the money of doing that. You don't review pricing quotes. A really important thing is also reviewing terms and conditions of contracts. That's pretty, you know, to be reviewing different contracts from each different supplier. Everybody has something different in their contracts. With this process, we're using the state's contract. We're using a contract that is prepared and accepted by the suppliers. It's there to protect you, the client. We have a pool of pre-qualified, financially screened suppliers, which will compete and give you a competitive bid for your business. Craig, I was just thinking, maybe what is just to give a briefing, what is a pre-qualified? You know, what do you look at for a supplier?
So when we pre-qualify electric suppliers for our contract, we are verifying that they have a PUC license, you know, the Public Utility Commission in Pennsylvania, that they're licensed and able to bid on, you know, electricity supply requirements. One of the other things that we look for in the pre-qualification process is something called FERC Power Marketer Authority. And I won't get into the nitty gritty of what that is, but it's something having to do with the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, where These companies are members of our grid, the PJM interconnection, our power grid, and capable of supplying larger customers predominantly. So what we do by having that requirement, we weed out a lot of the suppliers that tend to be brokers predominantly, and are making cold calls, sales calls, and other things that some of these suppliers do that are really not in line with the type of suppliers that we would want to work with. I guess
Thanks, Greg. Yeah.
There are some, and there's some suppliers, some of you might have gotten a lot of the phone calls where it's an electric supplier reaching out to you, and they do basically everything they can over the phone to make you think that you're talking to your utility company and you're due some sort of rebate, and you inadvertently sign up for a variable rate contract that's not in your best interest. Those are the type of companies that we're trying to weed out with those requirements.
Thanks, Greg.
Yep.
Yeah, just to parlay a little bit on top of that, that's one of the reasons why you, DGS, and PSFEI teamed up to. We saw some of these things that were going on out in the world of the broker marketers, and we wanted to address that. So that's one of our program is we believe in transparency 100%. PSFEI, we're compensated for a tenth of a penny per kilowatt hour by the supplier. So they add that in when an award is, or when a bid is awarded, that then flows back to PSFEI to help offset some costs. There's no fee charged unless supplier contracts are awarded. So if we go out and do the RFQ process and we use the current utility price to compare at the time, if none of the bids come in that are less than that utility price, it is not awarded. So it's not awarded, so there's no fee. So what does that mean to you is that if you're now sitting on the utilities price to compare, you're never going to do worse than that at this point in time. You're always going to do better because we'll only pick a supplier that's less than that price to compare. As Greg alluded to, many brokers will say to you, this is a free service. Nobody's doing this for free. They're doing the same thing. They're getting something embedded into the supplier's price as a feedback or some sort of an arrangement. The typical range for a broker marketer fee is, again, between a tenth of a penny up to an eighth. We've even seen up to a full penny per kilowatt hour. Always remember, broker dealers are they're for-profit businesses. We are not. Penn State's not for-profit, and neither is DGS, Bureau of Procurement. So how have we done? So again, I said in January of 2018, we really launched the program officially again out into all of COSTAR clients. So since that time, we've grown. The client base is now 125 COSTAR members, representing over 1,600 electric accounts. We average more than $600 per month in utility cost savings. Cumulative savings from price to compare to what we've awarded under contract has been over $2.9 million in savings. To put this to a different way too. So you're saying, oh, $600 per month in utility costs. My bills are, I have a small mid-size account. Maybe I'm paying $100 or $200. I did some calculations on that. Another way to express the average savings potential experienced by a small to mid-size account in the program, they've averaged between 17 to 19% of the portion of the bill that you can shop. And what I mean by that is, your utility bill, you have the regulated utility bill, which can't shop. That's West Penn, PP&L, whatever's under the tariff. That represents about 37% of the bill. The other 63% of the bill is what you can shop. So for that 63% of that bill, we've been able to, along with suppliers, to knock, somewhere 17 to 19% in as a percentage savings. Some value added services that we also bring to members, value added meaning there's no cost, is a free complimentary review of your regulated electric utility bills and supplier contracts. I've used to do this when I used to work for Pennsylvania Power and Light. It used to be a value added service. That's long gone. But that was such a valuable service that when we started this program up, I offered this to all clients. So just going through your bills, to date, I've recovered or identified over $556,000 in refundable money to your facilities and to your institutions that you're part of. It's been fantastic. So we've found some of these gold nuggets out there for clients. At the same time, we're also doing the procurement, which has generated another $2.9 million in savings. And again, PSFEI, we're always here for guidance in any area that you might need. I also can give you some guidance on how to go about attaining these refunds. Also, just to mention, the program currently, we don't offer any procurement services for natural gas, but bill review services, I still offer to do bill services for participating members. If you're in this program for electricity, I will review your natural gas bills for some of those incorrect billing charges. And PSFEI's energy analysts are always happy to review market and pricing trends in the natural gas markets. Some other member advantages, again, value added. We're moving into a new age of renewable energy. People are talking about maybe they'd like to put a project at their facilities. We have a lot of experience, this team that I work with on that. And some of the areas that we can give you some guidance is on site, behind the metering. So you're going to put up a solar array behind the meter. You need to, there's certain things you need to know to coordinate the dance with the regulated utility, and they call that behind the meter services. So we have a lot of information and guidance that we can give you on that. Again, called net metering regulations. Also, when you do renewable energy, you also probably need a different kind of a supply product, and we're pretty well versed in that, so that you can maximize that renewable energy source. Also, along with renewable energy comes renewable energy credits. What do you do with those credits? That's an attribute that comes with the renewable energy. You just sell them? Do you make them part of the offer if you're using a third party to let them have them to help to lower the cost of your renewable project? You might have heard terms of this talking about financing of these projects, power purchase agreements. Again, we're here to lend help. Another area too that we're gaining more momentum in is sustainability and energy efficiency design concepts and associated utility rebate programs too that are out there. And I mentioned before pricing trends for regional natural gas and also for electric markets. So a week or so ago, one of the COSTARS members, the Center Area Transportation Authority, or known as CATA, we have an interview that we'd like to share with you with Jamie Richard, who is the procurement specialist there.
So we wanted to hear from a COSTARS member about the benefits and overall experience of working with the energy contract and PSFEI. So Jamie Richard from Center Area Transportation Authority has agreed to be interviewed today, so we can get her feedback on her experience. Good morning, Jamie.
Good morning.
Good morning. So my first question for you is, how long has CATA been a COSTARS member organization?
We at CATA have been a COSTARS member since 2008.
Oh, okay. So you've been a longtime member, and I'm sure you've participated in several of our contracts, probably both COSTARS exclusive contracts as well as the statewide COSTARS enabled contracts. Can you give us a few examples of products and services that CATA has used the contracts in your COSTARS membership to make procurement from?
Sure. We have purchased service vehicles from the COSTARS contract, including like some of our van pole vans, trucks, and cars. We have purchased benches and trash cans for in our bus stop shelters. And most recently, which is new to us, is the electricity contract.
Oh, okay, great. So speaking of the electricity contract, how did you find out about that contract through COSTARS? Where did you hear about it? Did somebody tell you about it? How did you find out?
I saw it in the quarterly newsletter, and it sparked my interest.
Okay, that's great to hear. And that's one thing I'd like to point out to all of our members, that quarterly newsletter has a lot of great information in it. You know, there are some funny stories, there are some get to know our staff stories, but there are also some great opportunities in there that we highlight to make sure that our members know what opportunities are out there for their procurement needs. So I'm glad to hear that that's where you heard about this particular contract. So can you tell me how you handled your procurement of electricity prior to your participation in this contract?
We actually never went out to bid or had a solicitation done. We were just always with our local provider. It's something we had talked about and even drafted a solicitation, but never went forward with. So it was definitely on our radar, just never followed through with. So that being in the back of my mind, when I saw it in the newsletter, I went to my director and said, hey, maybe this is an option for us. I reached out to Scott with Penn State with PSFEI, and it was pretty easy from there.
All right. So when you reached out to Scott, what was the process like? And also, what was the determining factor that this program was a fit for your electricity procurement? Can you tell us about that?
Basically, I just had to fill out all of our information, like a one-sheet form, and gave to Scott. He looked up some of our history of what we were paying, stuff like that. And it was pretty much, you know, if you want to be in part of this COSTARS contract, they'll go out for bid. If they can beat the regular West Penn price, it would be awarded. So we would actually have savings. If not, you would just stay with West Penn and pay what we had been paying. So it seemed like a no-brainer. Why not try it?
Yeah, that seems pretty easy. And, you know, really time efficient for you, since it sounds like Scott's doing a lot of the work. So that sounds good. Now, tell us, since utilizing the PSFEI electricity program, what kind of benefits have you seen since you began in the program?
Well, it's definitely a benefit that Scott and Penn State take on a lot of the work. Our time, obviously, with other solicitations and every day-to-day work, but our savings have been phenomenal. Just for one, we were being charged taxes that we didn't know about. Scott took a look at our bills and pointed it out. So we did get a tax refund of approximately $18,000.
Wow.
So right off the bat, you know, there were
Wow.
savings. Once COSTARS did the bid and the contract was awarded, we saved over $73,000 a year. So for the life of the contract, we saved about $184,000.
That's amazing. So Scott, is it atypical for you and your process with some of our members to find that kind of like the tax savings? Is that a typical thing, or is that every once in a while you find it?
So as part of the process, I always do a value-added review of the bills. And to answer that, so we started doing the bill reviews in 2018. And to date, I'm over $556,000 in uncovered refundable dollars to clients. So the answer there is it's a pretty high percentage because in the industry, no one does this for their clients, neither broker dealers and neither do the utilities. So it's just finding another value, a golden nugget in there on top of what we might and can do for clients with avoided costs on the energy portion.
Wow, that's great to hear. Well, I thank you both for participating in this interview today. I think it's eye-opening for me to see that not only can you help them save money in many cases by going out for bid, but this value add look at their history and see what they've been paying and why and how. That's helpful and money savings for our members as well. So I really appreciate, Jamie, you sharing your experiences with us. It's nice to see real world experiences, not just giving an overview of a program and hoping that people understand what that might mean to them. So we really appreciate your time today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you
you.
so much.
Okay. Everybody hear me?
Yes.
We hear you.
Great. See my slide?
See your slide.
All right. All right. So 2021, we are going to have an event, another procurement event in the spring of 2021. This will be our largest electric procurement event since the program's inception. We'll have over 100 megawatt hours, which is 100 million kilowatt hours seeking price quotes starting in 2022. The RFQ will be issued in mid-May, and the bids will be due in June of this year. Anyone who is interested, the deadline to participate in this would be April the 15th of 2021. Reach out to me and within the next couple of weeks, and I can give you more information on enrollment, and also we could also start the bill review process first also for you. There is my contact information, that phone number, email. You can reach out to me and we can move forward. So at this time, if anyone has questions, I thank you. I want to thank Jamie too. I saw that she was also on here today for her interview.
Okay, and we will, if you want to add any questions to the chat, you can do that at this point, or you can wait till the end of the presentation. So I'm going to take over now. And wanted to say thank you, Scott and Greg, and thank you to Jamie for providing her experiences. I'm sure this is helpful to anyone interested in participation in the electricity procurement program. And Jamie is also in attendance today and is available to answer any questions you might have for her via chat. And as I mentioned at the start of the webinar, we are recording this webinar, and this and past COSTARS team recordings are available for on-demand playback by our members and suppliers, and they can be found by visiting YouTube. After this webinar, we will send you the link to view today's webinar later in the week with our follow-up email. But we also want to show you how to locate our recordings for future reference. So you'll go to YouTube, www.youtube.com, and then type PA CAST CMS into the search bar, and then click on the PA Cast CMS link. In the secondary search, then just type COSTARS. Then the COSTARS selections will be viewable. And as I mentioned, because we're recording today's session, this is where you'll be able to find that recording in the future. But we will also be emailing that to you as well. And this is what some of our previous webinars look like that are available currently on YouTube. And one thing we want to remind you of today is to update your member profile. We know that staff changes often as people transition into new positions or move on to other opportunities. So we always recommend that you verify your member profile information. And if you could do that today, it would be great. Make sure that you verify your primary contact is still current. Verify that the primary contact's email and the general email address are the same, or that the general email address delivers to someone who understands the COSTARS system and its benefits to your organization. The general email address is very important because that's the email address that we use when we send member alerts and other important information like our newsletters to our membership. And as you heard, Jamie found information about this program, the energy program, in our newsletter. So there's a lot of great things you'll be able to read about in our quarterly newsletter. If any changes are made to your record, you may not be able to save your updates without retyping your general email address under the email address cell in the organization contact section. So you want to make sure you confirm that, type it in twice. And finally, if you have a PO box as an address in your profile, please change this to the physical street address of your office, because our system automatically links your organization with your legislative contacts, and it won't work with a PO box. Just wanted to mention one more thing at the bottom where you see the little red, I don't have my pointer for some reason here, but let's see, I don't want to mess anything up, but where you see the little red text examples of public funding, right below that we have a section for information to share with COSTARS suppliers. So it's important to check at least something there that our suppliers will be able to reach out to you and share any important information about their company, or if they have any sales, what they sell, what's available to COSTARS members. So make sure you check something there to make that your information, your contact information available. And if you cannot find the answer to a question in the many resources available to you on our COSTARS website, the COSTARS team is always here to help. We have our contact information here, and that will connect you to the COSTARS team. So if you're trying to reach Felicia or myself and we're not available, there are other individuals there that can help you. We have our toll-free phone number here, our email, our website, and we are available through social media. We post COSTARS and important information about once a week on social media. So we've come to the end of our presentation today, and we will send you an email in the next few days with a link to the webinar. And before we let you go, we'd love to hear from you. In a moment, Felicia will paste a link to the webinar online survey, and we ask that you please take a moment to fill it out. It's a quick little survey. Your feedback helps us to continue to bring value to our members and suppliers in future sessions. And after you've submitted your survey, you're free to log off the session or return back with any questions you might have for us. We'll hang out here for a little bit in case you want to ask any questions. And remember, Scott, Greg, and Jamie are also here to answer any questions you have for them as well.
If you have a question too, and it's a kind of a lengthy question, feel free to use the raise your hand button at the top next to the little chat icon. And then we'll call on you and you can unmute yourself and ask your question if it's too much to type.
As someone said the other day, Bueller.
Yeah. I had a thought just while we're watching the chat, just for everyone also. There's been changes in Pennsylvania from last year. If you have electric accounts that are served at over 100 kW in demand, what does that mean? And you're still with the utility and you think you're sitting back and you're under this fixed price to compare. That no longer exists. That threshold was lowered from 400 kW down to 100. So that means you could be sitting on from the utility, a real-time energy rate, which those real-time hourly energy rates will follow weather trends. So in the hot summer or in the cold winter, you could be really surprised with a really high bill. So you need to do something. You need to look for an alternate supplier if you're interested in budget certainty to get under a fixed supply rate. If you're below that level of 100 kW, you do have a fixed price available from the utility. So that's something that with what's happened in Texas recently, I just want everyone to be aware of that happening.
Hey, Scott, we have two questions for you. Bridget asks if you can talk a little bit more about the review of the electric bills and what information is needed.
Oh, great question. So what I would need is just one current bill from the for each account, all of the pages, so that I can see the distribution, the regulated utility charges, and if you have, for some reason, you have a separate supplier now and you have a separate bill, I'd need a copy of that one too. But almost everybody has their supplier charges right on their regulated bill. So one copy, all the pages, scan it, send it to me, then I go through it and I will then give you feedback as to if I find something or if I find nothing too, which is always a good situation.
And then Scott asks, do all customers get the same rate from suppliers due to size and usage?
So the way that we do it is we do it by electric distribution company. It's pooled together. So we do have for a very large account, those accounts I was just mentioning that are over 100 kW, they would be in their own bid package. So they would potentially, they'll get a different rate than, say, the smaller accounts that are the mid-size and the smallers. They're bundled together so that we have an aggregation, and also that makes it more attractive to the suppliers. So yes, the answer is yes, you might get a different price for those mid and smaller size accounts versus a large single account will get potentially a different price, because we want that account that's over 100 kW for the reasons I just talked about. We want to award that so that you have budget certainty with a fixed price and not be rolling in the market for during the summer and the winter. Most people, we don't want that. So that would be in its own package so that we could award that package to, or that account to a supplier.
Thank you for that feedback.
Yeah. Also, if somebody has a renewable, you have a solar system on the property, that needs a little bit of a different product for supply. We would probably also have that in its own separate package too, because it would be what they call a pass-through product. We'd fix the energy component pricing. We'd ask for that, and there'd be some components that would be passed through that maximizes the renewable energy source on the property.
Do we have any other questions from anyone?
Don's typing. Henderson.
Okay. I was going to say, it looks like we still have quite a number of people. on the call. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Jamie, for your feedback on how easy the process was as well. Okay, we'll give it another minute here and see if we have any other questions. Oh, here we go. When you have an existing contract that ends in, say, August, how will this new contract start date?
Good question. So we're going to have the event, right? As I said, in May. So if your contract is ending in August, you know, we'd review it, and let's say you're in the program, we could do two things. We can actually request to the suppliers when the start date would be. We could probably get it started a little bit earlier, meaning like maybe it would start in October or November, or we would have that same account in starting in January. Why do you, so what would you do? We would probably recommend maybe you'd go back to the utility for supply until January of 2022. The reason is that you would then be lumped in with all of the a larger aggregate group, which again, the suppliers that makes their eyes wide open when they see larger quantities, their pricing will tend to be a little bit sharper. Or again, if you happen to be in a 100 kW client, right above that, maybe we would you know, look then for to get you under contract a little bit sooner, but you would just be you'd be on your own. You'd be on your own in your own bid package. More than likely, though, I'd say that if you're below the 100 kW and your contract ends in August, we would probably, you know, look for to get you the best price. We probably would just have you go back to the utility under the provider of last resort, and then have you lumped in with all the other accounts to start in January.
So Scott, am I correct in saying that for somebody who is under a current contract that ends quite a ways out, they should still do the application process for the program by your, what was it, April 15th deadline? They should still do
Right.
that? Okay.
Yeah, and we would review all of these. I mean, everybody has over the last 2 years, we've had clients that, you know, have the same situation. They're in June, July, different start and their contract end dates. We've been able to get everybody sort of in alignment now, so that we have a whole lot of kilowatt hours available that are all ending in December of 2021. Again, it makes the aggregation group bigger. So it takes some time to get people into sync into the program. But yeah, I'd recommend just, you know, contact me. Let's have a conversation and see what your specifics are. And yeah, that's another point too. Let's say someone has a contract that's ending in February or March of 2022. We can also ask suppliers to bid in March or April of 2022. We can always pick the start date after the current contracts are ending. We do never ever want to step on somebody else's contract. We have to let that go through the full term. So it is, a lot of people aren't aware that you can ask for different start dates into the future.
Thank you. I think
I
that
hope
was
that
helpful.
answers your question, Scott. Good.
Any other
Well,
questions?
yeah. Thanks, Kim and Felicia too for proctoring and putting this all together.
Well, thank you for joining
Thank
us
you.
today. I think this was
Greg.
really beneficial information. So
Greg Knerr,
Yeah,
also
great.
thank you for
yes,
joining
thank
us.
you, Greg.
Thank you, Scott, and Kim and Felicia. Thank you all.
Thank
And
you.
one more time, we thank Jamie, if Jamie is still on,
Yes.
Yeah.
for telling
Yes,
us
she's
about
still
her
here.
story.
Yes, she is. Thanks,
Yeah.
Jamie.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, it looks like we don't have any other questions at the moment. But like we
Well-
said, if you have any, please reach out to us or to Scott. And we'd be
And-
happy to answer your questions.
And I'm hoping to get our post-event email out to you, hopefully by Friday. And just so you know, if it takes longer than Friday, it has to do with the posting of the on-demand playback of the recording. We have to go out of our department for that. So I'm dealing with somebody else's timetable at that point. So we will get it out to you as soon as possible. It'll have our contact information in there for you. So you'll have access to that from here on out as well. All right.
Okay. Well, if there's no
Thank you
further
all.
questions, we will sign off.
All right.
Thanks
Thanks for
again.
joining us.
Okay.
Have a
Thank you,
great
everyone.
day.
Bye.
Thank-
Bye.
Bye.